I'm Faye Grace, and this past week I forgot to grab the book. I read Fiona and Jane by Jean Chenho. Sorry, off to a great start. I ended up reading this book incredibly fast. I ended up reading the 271 pages in like 4 days, which for me is so quick. I don't read terribly quickly, despite owning too many books. But I ended up reading it that quickly because I genuinely enjoyed it, which I learned when I went to Goodreads to do my rating and review. A lot of people hated this book or just thought it was mid-tier. There was a lot of 3-star reviews, which is fair. People can have their opinions. But I'm going to talk about why I liked the book, and also why I think those people might be wrong. I'm just kidding. I don't think they're wrong. I think they have their own opinions and own experiences. I found it to be an incredibly deep and personal read. The book is composed of non-linear short stories telling the story of Fiona and Jane from age 16 to age 37. I think one of the biggest issues people had with this book was that there is a change from first to third person whenever it's changing, and that is like changing the narrative, and that bothered me too. Whenever it's talking from Fiona's perspective, it's third person. Whenever it's talking from Jane's perspective, it's first person, which is a little annoying. But I understand because it at the end you do realize that the books are like written by Jane. That's the whole thing. The book was written by Jane, which, you know, makes sense. But you don't know that the entire time, so it makes it kind of annoying to read. And then when you get to the end, it's like, I mean, I guess it's kind of an excuse for it, but it's just not a fulfilling excuse. People also seemed kind of annoyed by the non-cohesiveness of the narrative, which, again, valid point. It is a little bit weird to jump from the beginning when you're 18 or so to when you're 16 to when you're 30 to when you're 27 to when you're 24 to when you're 37. Again, it's a little annoying to go from all those, and I don't think those are the exact ages, but it's pretty much like that. But I also believe in a looser definition of literature. I think that non-cohesive stories are still really good. I think that you can have an amazing story that isn't necessarily point A, point B, point C. I think telling point C first sometimes might just be the most effective way of telling your story. Another part of it being non-linear is that you get blank spaces in the story, and people didn't seem to like that. They didn't like that the reader is expected to fill in those pieces. But for me, I did enjoy that. I thought it was interesting that it was something that was expected of the reader, that it was, you fill in what happens here, because while it matters, it also doesn't matter to the story. Overall, this story is one of female friendship and the experience of growing up. Due to its non-cohesive nature, it makes readers actually focus on the details through the fast-paced story, and overall it was a 4-star read for me. I recommend it to those interested in short stories and non-linear stories, and I genuinely think it's a good read and is worth your time. It's not terribly long, and I think it's a good read out there. Anyway, that is what I read this week. Come back next week for another book, possibly, depending on how quickly I read the next book. My next book I'm reading is Every Day by David Levin. Every Day by David Levin. So we'll see how I feel about this one. I'm already 80% of the way through. So maybe we'll have that to be the Wednesday video instead of the Sunday video. I wish you all a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.